Thank you, Nandan. Thank you very much for indicating the possibilities that and the role that information technology could play within India in direct terms, not through indirect ways alone through the exports, and I think that was very useful. As Nandan spoke and talked of the tremendous changes in the tax system and the huge role of technology in enabling that tax, I was hoping that our finance minister would listen and in turn, for having helped him raise $25 million incremental taxes, would in turn give us a small little break. And those of you from India would know what kind of break I'm talking of. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have, thanks to our speakers whom had requested to try and cut off a few minutes of their talk each and have done it so kindly, we do have a few minutes in which I thought it's a bit difficult on a large audience, but we can try to do just one or two brief questions. My only request would be for those of you who want to ask questions, if you can make them very brief and pointed, that would be good. If there are no questions, I'm happy to, say a few sentences and wind up this session. But if there are one or two brief questions, we can try to take them now. Brief, please, and on the topic.
Yeah. My question is to Nandan. What could be enabler for the government to take those steps forward, what we have listed in the beginning?
Thank you.
Well, I think it's not going to be easy, and it's going to take several, maybe 5-10 years to do it. But fundamentally, I think we need to create a national utility, for example, for a single citizen number. Today, we don't have that. Everybody does his own thing, and it's really become a big mess. I think if you have a single utility and you mandate that all new systems that we develop use that utility, we'll be able to create numbers. The other thing is that what people like Comat are doing, which is take existing databases and scrub them and bring them all together. For example, we know that we have, say, 30-40 million people in the PAN system. We have maybe 8 million people in the DMAT system. We have about 20 million people in the pension system. Maybe the telecom guys have about 200 million names. So how do we take these different pools of data and how do we scrub them and bring them together? I think we can do it. It's doable. But it requires holistic thinking, not departmental thinking. The problem in government is that each department is on its own. The Home Ministry wants to do it because they want to catch illegal aliens. And somebody else wants to do it because, migrants and all kinds of reasons. So I think it's possible. Land is much more difficult because land records in this country are all over the place. And that's going to be very difficult. I think the financial accounting and the distribution channels is also going to be. I think if somebody really puts their mind to it, in 5 to 10 years, you can pull this off.
Thank you, Nandan. One more. Yes, Prakash.
This question is for Mr. Rametti. You talked about the global outlook, and I understand the rationale for it. We've been trying for the last 17 years to do that here. One of the things that's happening worldwide, and it's not unique to India, is a growing tendency towards protectionism. We see that in the US electoral debate. We see that happening in Europe. We see that happening in Russia. And I think one of the questions that you need to address is how does one get around this problem of growing protectionism, which is as a result of the success of globalization. So in a sense, globalization has created its own problem, and that is a reaction to it within the countries that were formerly successful, that see their success now being threatened.
Sivan? Yes, there we go. Okay. I think this topic, and it's a topic, I think it's broader than even that, because whether it's about protectionism or whether it's about just employment for everyone in all of these countries, I think what will end up happening inevitably, and there is a difference, by the way, between being globally and globally integrated, but when you look in every country and you look for where there's expertise, is what I call these economies of expertise, right? And you have to keep looking and raising the bar at what will be competitive in the marketplace. And I think every single country has to keep looking and saying, what is it that we need to do for our own people to raise that level of skill? I know we spend an enormous amount of time with working with different governments around the world on innovation initiatives, which are all about building the skills in those governments to have them be skills that are competitive everywhere in the world. And I think that's what individually and as governments we can all do, is continue to focus on what it takes to build a vibrant workforce. Because in the end, what is best for everyone is that work will flow to where it can best be done, and that will be best for all participants.